Nail or beauty school was just the beginning, right? What on earth do you do now? Welcome to the Salon Success Podcast with Monaco Nail Academy. Our topics stretch beyond nails and into all things salon related, business, marketing, and social media, and at the very least hits you with real honest stories about our experiences. This isn't school, this is real life, real business, and really freaking hard work. Before we get started, wherever you are, thumbs up, tag a friend in the comments, or hit that share button and support small business. Hey guys, it's Mel here from Monaco Nail Academy, and today I'm joined by Erin.
Hello.
Jade.
Hi.
And Pat.
Hi.
And today we're going to be talking about how to supplement your income with a second job or selling retail essentials.
And just a reminder before we get started to use my code BEAUTYBYJADE for 10% off all courses. I get a kickback from these enrollments and they're how we support the production of the podcast.
So before we get stuck into the new topic, let's revisit last week's lesson. Erin, what were we chatting about last week?
So last week we were talking about price increases and just like how we would go about it and what ways we recommend like implementing it and that type of stuff. It was a really good topic, actually. I found it really interesting.
Yeah, it was cool. Even I was like, oh, that's interesting. Pat, do you have anything to add about last week's episode?
I just thought it was really interesting that there are so many ways you can go about doing the price increase, and that even though it seems like everyone is doing the whole announcing of their prices on Instagram, we don't have to do that. It's not really a rule. So yeah, that was interesting to me.
Yeah, same. I was really surprised by that I never thought, like, why do I actually do this? I do it because everyone else was doing it. But yeah. Okay, so from talking about that, let's move on to this week's topic. So supplementing your income with a second job or selling retail essentials, things along those lines. So who of us is full-time nail techs or who has a second job? Does anybody else have another job?
Yeah,
I do.
Okay, cool. So that gives us a bit of a different perspective. And I know Pat was in that position and now has moved into nail tech completely. I did have another job and was doing nail tech, and now I'm just doing nail tech, but I'm actually looking for another job. So a lot of different. So let's start this episode off. Each of us will go through our positions when we first became a nail tech, how we transitioned to where we are today, and how it went for us, and if there's anything you would change or do differently. Let's start with you, Erin.
Okay, so obviously I was working as a caregiver when I started my training, and I continued to do that. So as I went through my training, I kept working and studying, and then I gradually started to do clients at home, just like friends and family and stuff who were paying me, which then helped me buy more product, etc. And then I got offered an opportunity to go and contract in a hair salon, which I did. So that was after COVID, like after the first sort of lockdown lifted and that. And I went and did that. And that was a really good experience because I just gained lots of insight into how things work. Like it wasn't a good financial decision at the time, but I was still doing a bit of caregiving on the side as well. So I never dropped that completely, thank God, because I was still like, I hadn't done Salon Success at that point. So I still was just like winging it along the way. So I think my top tip to anybody starting out is do your Salon Success, do it thoroughly and get your head in the game properly right from the get-go. Don't be like me and just want to wing everything along the way. But I sort of learned as I went. So then I went from that contracting position into another contracting position, which was actually really good. And I really enjoyed that one. And I still continued to do caregiving on the side. So I was doing nails like 2 or 3 days a week and then doing caregiving stuff around that. And I kept doing that right up until a year ago. And then I've just started doing contracting for Sue, who has studio nails in Christchurch, and I do 3 days a week there, sort of set hours. Sometimes I change them up a wee bit. And then obviously I'm doing a bit of stuff with Monaco. And then I have my little, like, that's still self-employed income, but it's cleaning work that I do for certain people. And that just gives me a little bit of security because, like we all know, sometimes clients cancel or you have a quiet week or whatever. So I just know for me it works anyway, having like that set amount coming in each week from that solid position. So that's just what I like for me, and it works really well, and I still get to do what I love, which is nails. So yeah, and that's how it happened for me. So I wouldn't say that I'm full-time nails, but I would say I'm probably, like, on a good week, I would do 30 hours
Okay,
of
so
nail
pretty
related.
solid.
Yeah, of nail
Pretty
related
solid.
work.
But like you
Did
say,
you know that technically 30 hours is considered full-time by Inland Revenue? Like
Oh,
for their
right.
purposes, they'll be like, if you're 30 hours employed, that's full-time.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's like when things are going good, that's where I would sit at. And that's where I like to sit at too, because for me personally, because what I really love about doing the mental stuff alongside the actual teching stuff is that because I have really weak wrists, and I know that when I did do like 4 full days in a row type thing, my wrists were killing me. And thank God for e-file. So I just know that my body will probably not allow me to do, like, I wouldn't be able to do 7 days straight of nails. Of 8, 9 hours, whatever. I just know I wouldn't. It wouldn't work. I would be broken. So I have to bear that in my mind, and I have to know that, yeah, having other little things on the side. Oh, and I also, because you guys all know from some of my stories I share, I go and help a family member with their lifestyle block and help with grooming the horses and feeding animals and stuff like that. So that's another little side thing I do. So yeah, I kind of just have little, I don't know how to word it.
yeah, I know what you
little
mean.
side things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of little side things that still allow you to have nails as your center, but get your
Yeah.
security and other things too, which is cool. Works
Yeah.
for you. Good, good, good. I'm sure there's other people the same.
Yeah.
I was sort of the same. So my story, when I started, I was working at a retail store about 30 hours, I think, when I decided to make the nail tech journey my thing. And then eventually I just increased the nail side of it and decreased the retail shop side of it. And then they did lots of restructuring again through COVID. And then I decided to completely jump ship. But I had the security of my husband working full time and knowing that I didn't have the pressure of having to bring in so much money every week. So that allowed me to kind of focus on nails. But yeah, it was probably a good 18 months of transitioning before I finally made that decision to fully cut off the outside income, which was so terrifying and scary to give that up. And then now I'm back to where, because I've just moved towns, I don't have clients at the moment. Now I'm back out looking for another part-time job to now supplement the nail thing again. So it's kind of come in full circle, which I'm okay with. I'm not like sad or anything like that. It's just the journey that my life has taken me on. And that's how it sort of rolled for me. So I supplemented it with a part-time job at the start and then went to no other job. And now I'm trying to go back to having another part-time job as well. But yeah, what about you, Jade? How did your journey begin, and do you supplement your nail income with another job? Do you not? Do you sell retail? How do you work it all in?
I work another job, in short. So when I started studying and stuff, I was always working as a beauty therapist while I was studying through Monaco. And then once I was qualified, I managed to find a job where it was just me working out of the women's only gym, and I got to pick what services I wanted to do. But unfortunately, it was only for like 20 to 25 hours a week. So I was working there, and I'd come home and I'd do like cash jobs from home on like friends and family. So between those two, it was about 40 hours. And then after being there for a while, so it was like August last year, I was like, right, I've wanted to own my own business for so long. I'm just going to do it. I'm sick of overthinking it. Like, I'm just going to jump into it. So when I opened my business, I was working 3 jobs. So I was working my business for 20 hours. I was working for Monaco for about 15, and then I was doing 8 hours admin somewhere else again. And then it got way too much. Like, I was just being pulled in a gazillion directions. So I quit my 8-hour admin job, increased the business's hours to, it must be about 27. and then still did 15 through Monaco. So I was back down to 2 jobs, and then the business got busier again. So I had to increase my business hours to, I'm now sitting at 33, and I dropped some hours back through Monaco. So I'm back down to a couple there now. And I have another admin job I'm doing for 15 hours a week. Now I'm back in the pickle of, oh my goodness, like this 15-hour job is too much. Like between that and my business, I'm working 45 hours, and I'm at the point now where I want to focus solely on my business and contracting through Monaco. Like that's where my head's at, and I think I can do it. There's that fear of like, we're in a recession, getting out of a recession, like have that fear of like, oh my gosh, like if I do this, like what happens if my business stops making money and then I have to close? Like that's like my worst nightmare. But in all honesty, my figures over the last 3 months were more than what I was making at Christmas last year. So, but that's my story. So yeah, I've nearly been in business a year, and I'd say I'm nearly at the point now where I can just full send it kind of thing. But it's taken a lot of hard work to get here.
Yeah, and it is terrifying to give up that security. Yeah, it is scary.
Scary. Yeah. If you're doing well and you've got clients, and like I know for me, my late nights are full. Like I've got people messaging me all the time, and I'm like, I can't squeeze you in for a month. Like, you know, when you're at that point, you kind of know, okay, I can like full send it, you know.
So interesting to hear that we're all like in the same position at the moment, but the way we got here is so different.
Yeah, definitely.
Pat, fill us in.
Okay, so my story is similar, different, I don't know. So when I got started, I was working part-time in my corporate job, and studying on the side. And then I applied to be made redundant from my job, and I was like, bye-bye. And now I'm like part-time doing nails, part-time doing contracting for Monaco. So that's cool. Yeah, so I guess that's the quick and short version. And I operate at I do nails from 2 different spaces, 2 shared spaces. One is at Penny Salon in Tairua, and then the other one is in Hamilton with my friend Katie. So that's cool. In my ideal life, I would be doing maximum 30 hours a week, like 30 to 35, because I just don't want to work that much. Like I really value flexibility and my personal time. Like I really want to make space for mental health. So I just want to get so good at this that I can charge premium prices and not have to work that much. So that's my goal. I want to get to like super high end and like charge more and still do stuff for Monaco, because I think it's fun to do the marketing and like other stuff. So yeah, that's my story. In the meantime, I'm not making that much money, I guess. So my husband's like, when are you gonna make more money? Blah 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 blah. And it's like it's still a process, and I'm learning as I go, and that's cool. Yeah, and my husband's just supplementing my lifestyle. So thanks, hubby, for for doing me a solid.
So good. But it is something to keep in mind, right? It's such a thing now, and I'm so happy that it's a thing now, that it's okay to look after yourself and your own mental health. And it's not all just about work, work, work and make money. You know, for me, I kind of fell into that trap, and it wasn't till I fell off the cliff that I realized I can't keep doing this. My kids were young, and yeah, it was just, yeah, I guess you just need to keep in mind how you transition has to work for you and your situation and your family. It's not going to be the same as ours. It's going to be different. Okay, before we continue on with the podcast, I just want to take a quick ad break to talk about our e-file module. So e-file module is all about using an electric nail file to shape, smooth, and efficiently remove nail products, speeding up your services time, and just adding a whole nother level to your services. So you can find this course at monaco.ac.nz/course/e-file. So yeah, go check that out if you're looking to one up yourself with an e-file. So the question was about supplementing your income. So some of us were doing that with part-time jobs. Another way you can supplement is by adding on to your services. A good way to add on to your services to bump up your prices is by selling retail. I know I do sell like cuticle oil, lotion, scrub, even files sometimes. Do you guys sell retail, and is that a way that you supplement your income?
And I find it's a good way to like upsell services. So for example, I mean, like all nail techs sell cuticle oil, right? I know with my clients, you know, if they're a new client, for example, like they've been to other salons, they're first time meeting me. I'm like, has your nail tech ever talked to you before about the importance of cuticle oil? And 9 times out of 10, they're like, no, what's cuticle oil? And I'm like, oh man, here we go. So I tell them like why they should apply it and how it benefits them and how they're going to get better longevity out of their nails, like skin's just going to look healthier. Just list off all the benefits. And then they go, oh, cool. How much is it? I'm like, $15 for the size. They're like, great, I'll grab one. So just like that, you kind of tell them like, does Penny say the why before the what? There's like something in Salon Success that says something like that. I can't remember the exact saying. But
She does say do the why before the what. And she literally was just talking about that a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. It's perfect. And then I know because I do lash and brow services, the main concern for lash and brow clients are, I want my lashes longer. I want my brows thicker. And I'm like, ooh, have you heard of brow and lash serum? And I have a whole like lash and brow serum range. By the time I mark it up a bit, I make a lot of profit by the time I sell them as well. So yeah, I would say it definitely helps me like, I don't even know what percentage would be monthly of retail. I'd say it might be like 10-15% like of what I make. The rest of it would be like sales of services. But in saying that, my retail range is really small and I don't want to like, I probably should push it more, but I don't want to come across like pushy and have them not get it, if that makes sense. Yeah. What do you guys think?
It makes total sense because I know you do as well, Pat, like offer like eyebrow and eyelash services. I used to also stock the lash and brow serums, even though I don't offer those services, because clients would always ask me like, who does your eyebrows? Oh, your lashes are so long, blah, blah, blah. And all because I just used that personally. So then I just stocked it and I would go, well, this is what I use. And it's such an easy way to make money. It's like you don't actually do anything. You order it in, you claim it as a business expense, you add on a little markup and you sell it. Like it's such a good, simple way to boost your income. And I know even like people do candles and teas, like mugs, like there's so much that you can bring, again, going back to your avatar and what they want. Bring it in, sell it.
So one good thing about having another job, kind of like we all contract for Monaco, is it allows us to use other skill sets. But also depending on what job it is, it might be related to nails, and in which case you have like a guaranteed income for doing nails, for example, or something that you know how to do. And having a guarantee is good because the income that we bring in from nails can vary. And like I do nails and lashes, lash extensions, and like when you're thinking about doing beauty services, it's based on the hours that you work, right? But there's a limit to how much money you can make doing those services because there's a limited amount of time in a week. Even if you were like, I'm going to do as many as I can and be the fastest that I can and be efficient, you still have to take time to sleep and eat, right? So it's not like there's a limit. You can't just be like, I'm going to do 100,000 lash extensions or manicure services this week because there isn't enough time. So then we go and think about retail. The nice thing about retail, like the two of you are saying, is that you mark up the product and people buy it and then you just make money. It doesn't have anything to do with the amount of time that you are putting into it. If like one thing that someone said to me before, because I was jokingly like saying, oh my gosh, you're so good at selling. And then she pointed out to me, it's not that she's good at selling. It's actually just that she just talks about products and she's not trying to sell it to you. But if she thinks it's a good fit, of course, she's going to mention it. So if we are thinking about doing retail, it's not just about, oh my God, I have to sell this to you. And it's the same thing when we're doing nails, right? It's not like I have to sell builder gel to you. It's just if this is the right product for you, if this is the right service for you, I'm just going to tell you about it. It's up to you if you're going to get it or not. So, like I am a very like witchy, I love like new age kind of stuff. I don't currently sell crystals. What I'm not currently doing any retail, but in my ideal like future state, I would be doing retail. Like I would probably be doing like maybe retailing crystals and partner with a crystal shop. I want to sell like retail crystal candles that one of my friends sells. So then I could retail her products and get like a kickback from that. Um, I would love to do cuticle oil and like make it really fun. Like maybe I could even do like a make your own cuticle oil to go with the whole witchy vibe and everything. Because I have a bunch of like I have like the essential oils and everything and the jojoba and everything. So if someone wants to go really like, I'm gonna like center myself and do my own thing, then okay, cool. Here are the basic ingredients. Do you want to add smells to it or something? Um, so that different things, or even like I know one of our nail techs who's based in Northland. I think it's Kelly. Hi, Kelly, if you're listening to this. I'm pretty sure she retails art. I think it's her mom's art.
Yeah, I have seen
So you
that.
can do
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So like you said, Mel, like you can retail anything. Like I love to do art. Like a lot of us nail techs, we got into doing nails because we're so creative. We do beautiful art on like tiny little canvases. So can we translate that into bigger canvases? Maybe that goes with your brand and you sell art. So I would love to sell art as well because then it's like I can have a hobby and also not take up so much space on my own walls. And then if somebody else wants it in their house, then nice. You go and
Yeah.
take it off me, and then I can make more art, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
guess,
those are my thoughts.
yeah. No, amazing. And the good thing is too with like cuticle oil, eyelash, eyebrow serum, when they come back, their nails are going to be in great shape, their eyelashes, eyebrows are going to be in great shape, and they're going to attribute that to you and your service. Like, oh, my eyebrows have never looked so great. Like, yay,
Yeah.
thanks. We have a question for you, Jade. Erin had to pop off and she left a question for us. She said, and you too, Pat, because you offer extra. She said, do you think having extra beauty services helps you as opposed to just doing nails?
Yeah, most definitely. So, per hour, I make more money doing waxing, facials, massages, lash and brow treatments. I don't make as much with the nail services. And I mean, I definitely do need to do a price increase. But even when I price increase to where other nail techs are charging in Dunedin and home salons, I'm still making more through all my treatments. So yeah, absolutely love nails, like love it. But without those other services, I don't think my business would be turning over as much profit as what it is. And it's also quite good because it's like a one-stop shop basically. Like, why is someone going to find someone to do their facial, someone to do lashes and brows, someone to do their nails? Like, especially if it's for an event like a wedding or a formal, they're just gonna book in for one day, one time, come in a couple of times a week and see a person they trust in all those different fields. And then it's really good because they give word of mouth to everyone. And then everyone's like, oh, perfect. I might just get a quick eyebrow shape while I'm here. Like, it's a great way to like upsell for the services. And like some people, they'll come to me and they'll sit down at my nail table and they'll see my bed and all my waxing gear and they'll be like, oh, so like what other services do you offer? And then you kind of list them off and they're like, oh wow, never knew you did that. So it's a good way to fill in my gaps in my books, make some extra profit. Like, it's definitely good. Like, I really like doing both. Yeah.
I guess it is like another way to supplement your nail income by adding other services.
Exactly.
I personally never did that. Like, yeah, it makes total sense. And I used to tell people, but I never followed it myself. Like, even just adding like pedicures, you've got one client, two services, twice the money. but just
Yeah.
one person. Like, I used to tell people, why wouldn't you do it? But I never did it because that's what I do.
Oh, do you not do pedicures?
Nah, I never did. And I used to just say to
Oh.
people, I don't have the space. When really, I just didn't want to do it.
I love doing pedicures. I must be so weird. Like, I'm not bothered by feet. And it just makes me happy at the end when people are like, oh, my feet feel so soft, especially if I do a deluxe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm a weirdo. One thing that you said, Jade, that really resonated with me, that has got me thinking, but I'm not doing anything with it right now because I'm still gonna try and get myself sorted, is you talked about gap fillers because you offer some services that are really fast. Like, is it like a brow wax or something that's like 15 minutes? So that's really handy that if someone books at 2:30 and then somebody else books like a 3:45, if you were doing only nails, you might have an awkward gap of like 15 to 30 minutes somewhere that you might not be able to fit another nail service. But if you offer something like brows, then you could potentially be like, yeah, there is a gap for another client to come in. Or on the other hand, if you worked another job, as long as it were flexible, then you could do and use that 15 minutes for that second job or that contracting or something. So that's something to think about. And I think that's really cool. Like, such a good point. I know one thing that Penny has said in the past is that before we get carried away adding all these extra services, it's so important to get good at least the one thing and be good at that. Because otherwise, if you're just kind of crap at everything, who's going to come to you? Like, it would be like, Jade, I'm sure you're fantastic at everything, and that's why you can be a one-stop shop. But if you were shit at everything, then they'll be like, yeah, Jade does everything, but she's shit, so I'm not gonna go to her. But obviously you're not. And so like that's fine. Yeah, because it's so easy to get carried away and be like, well, I'm not making enough money, so I'm gonna start like offering this thing. I'm still not making enough money. I'm going to offer this thing. And then that comes back to, are you charging enough? Because like, I know that there's one of the nail techs in Auckland. She offers nails and lash extensions. And she made it a point that she now has priced herself that dollar for dollar, like per minute, it costs like she will get the same amount of profit from nails and lashes because of the way she's priced it. And the difference is just based on the time it takes, you know? Yeah, so that's something to think about. And I think that's really like, one of the bad things about being in the nail industry is that we tend to underprice and undercharge ourselves because a lot of us feel like we need to compete with the high volume salons. But as independent nail techs who offer quality services, we shouldn't be trying to compete with their cutthroat prices, right? So yeah, I went on a tangent there, so don't mind me.
I just want to add one thing on, because I think Pat raised a really good point actually, with you don't want to be like a one-stop shop and adding in like a gazillion different services just to make money. Like, it is so important to sort of work on each skill one at a time. So like, I know with my career, like I've been doing beauty and nails probably 5 years now, but over that 5 years I've gone down a few different avenues. So like, to start, I worked in an eyebrow waxing facial bar, so that's why I got that experience, built up that clientele. Then I moved to a spa, so I was doing massages, facials, plus waxing and the brown lash services. So those clients followed to the spa, where I then picked up more clients. And then I ended up at my last job, which was at the women's only gym. And that's where I offered all of those services. So all those clients followed me there. Plus I picked up a few more. And then, and I started at home. Obviously I've had so much experience in all those services. I had all of those clients that came to me for those services. And I mean, since having my business, I think I've nearly been in business a year, and I've enrolled in like one other brow course. So like, I just slowly upskill, drip feed things in kind of thing. So it's making sure you're kind of really perfecting each skill instead of just like bringing everything in at once and doing a not so great job. So just want to stress the importance that you definitely should be really skilled in every field. Otherwise, yeah, you don't want to have people thinking that you just do it all to make heaps of money, but it's not a good standard, if that made any sense.
I think that makes so much sense, Jade. And I think one thing also is you want to offer additional services that make sense for
Yeah.
your branding and your business. Like,
Yeah.
I know I used to, like, I was a regular at this lash extension place, and they were known for lashes and brows. And then they started offering facials, like, randomly. They were just like, okay, we're going to offer facials because some people were asking for it. And then they found that people never booked in for the facials. And when they reflected on it, it was because their branding didn't make sense with facials. They were known for lashes and brows, and all of their branding, all of the marketing, social media that they did was really focused on the lashes and the brows, and they never talked about the facial. So of course, no one booked in for facials. So it's like, if you're going to offer a new service, make sure it fits in with your brand. Otherwise, you're just adding it for the sake of adding it, and it's not going to make sense. Like, if you're all about like natural blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden you're gonna do something that's unrelated. I can't think of anything right now, but if people will be like, huh? That doesn't make any sense. So you want to make sure it makes sense.
You want to, you've got a lot of services, you want to make sure your social media is sharing multiple things about them. Otherwise, you're right, no one knows about it. So what's the point in offering it?
Absolutely. Just before we wrap up, I want to take a minute to remind you about our e-file course so you can learn how to use an e-file efficiently and safely, cut down your service times, do amazing prep, all sorts of things with your e-file. You can find it at monaco.ac.nz/course/e-file, and you can, of course, use our affiliate codes to get 10% off. Mine is Jungle Nails, Pat.
Mine is Patsitive.
And Jade.
Mine's Beauty by Jade.
Nice. Let's wrap up what we've chatted about. So ways that you can supplement your income, and the ways that we have pretty much all done. Part-time jobs. Yep, we've all been there, done that. You can do retail. You can add services. What else, you guys? That's the 3 main ones, right?
I think for me, my takeaway is start small. Like, you don't have to offer all the retail products. You also don't have to have like a big full-time job just to supplement your income. Like, start small. It doesn't have to be crazy. And don't close a door. Like, don't be like, oh, okay, I can only do retail, or I can only do having a second job. Like, you can have more than one thing. And they do say that millionaires on average have 7 streams of income. So have more than one, try more than one thing, and just start small.
Totally. Jade, what's your biggest takeaway from this one?
I agree with start small. Don't put pressure on yourself at the start that it has to be this massive thing straight away. Good things take time and lots of hard work. So just start small, just add things in, keep going. Remember to look after your mental health too. Sometimes working a gazillion jobs is stressful. So make sure you're recognizing that and making the right moves for yourself as well.
Absolutely agree. Don't take on too much at once. Look at what suits you, your family, yourself personally. Look after yourself. I know it's a big thing in the world at the moment, and honestly, I couldn't be happier that it is. And with that done and dusted, before you disappear, like our page or follow the podcast so that you don't miss the next episode. We'll be back next week. Pat, what are we covering next week?
Okay, the next one is going to be so much fun. So for all of us girlies or whatever, for all of us people who really want to upgrade our content and our marketing, we're going to go over this fancy schmancy checklist that's in Salon Success. And it's all about making sure that your content is going to do the best that it can and maybe even go viral. So look out for that.
We're going viral. Okay, perfect. But until then, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by searching Monaco Nail Academy, or follow our salon pages. Mine is Jungle Nails NZ. Pat.
I am Patsitive.beauty.
And Jade.
And I am beauty.byjade.
Cool. Okay, have a great week, everybody, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.